Yeah, I'm now on campus. So I'm in my room on campus.
Okay. So that's your room? That's the way the room looks like at HEC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Normally this wall is yellow, but I'm lucky I have a white one. So
Okay. And how big is the room? How big is it?
the one I have is
The
like
room.
18.
What is this?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like
It's like
18
a studio
square
flat.
meters. Yeah.
Okay. So when did you arrive? You arrived like 1 month ago, 5 weeks ago? When did you arrive?
Yeah. Arrived, I think the 27th of August. So I've
Okay.
been here now indeed for a few weeks.
So what have been your program these last 5 weeks? What have you been doing these last 5 weeks, Sarah?
Okay, so the first week was more like an introduction. So we just had a lot of career sessions actually, because yeah, most of the people in the Master in Finance are applying for investment banking. So then they were preparing us for that. And then the second week we went to London to visit a whole bunch of companies. And then the third week my class started. So I think now I've had 3 weeks of classes. So
Okay.
yeah, it's been busy
So the
but
first week
fun.
is orientation week. First week is orientation
Yeah.
week. Second week you went to London, and you have been now studying the last 3 weeks. So what is a typical week like at HEC?
A typical week at HEC, I would say, like the weeks I've had for now, I've had classes Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays all day, like from 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. And then Thursdays and Fridays, I did usually not have classes. I think one time on Friday I had a class. So on Thursdays and Fridays, most of the people are applying the whole time, or studying for your classes that you had Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, or doing group projects. And then in the weekend, it really depends on the person and what you have to do. Many people tend to go to Paris in the weekends. But I think for me personally, I haven't really had a lot of time to go. Like I've been once since I've arrived. Because for the rest of my weekends, I've just been applying and studying. So depends on the person,
Applying
I would
studying.
say.
Okay. So basically, so yes, a busy day from Monday to Thursday. Basically, people work on project on Friday. The serious one like you work on weekend or apply to jobs, and the less serious will go to Paris to party or meet friends and stuff. Huh? Okay. Yeah. Alors tell me, last time you told me that you have been in contact with that you have contact with the BCG. So will you apply to investment bank, or will you open up? You intend to not just apply to investment bank, or what is your plan now?
And so for me, I already applied for consulting in the summer. So indeed,
Yeah.
I've planned an internship at BCG for next fall. And now I'm applying for summer analyst positions in investment banking.
And that's what you're looking for. But okay,
Yeah.
in consulting would be a good thing, but the idea you agree behind the MIF is to, of course, get a position in the brush bracket bank.
Yeah.
So tell me, so that's the thing. So what are the questions that I have? Alors, basically, in terms of campus, because you play football, you play tennis, you take advantage of the campus, or you don't really have time to take advantage of all the sport facilities that the campus offers?
Yeah, the campus is great, to be honest. It's very large. You have a lot of sports facilities, and indeed, I really like to do sports. So since I've arrived here, I've been playing a lot of tennis, actually, because we have tennis courts on campus. And there's also like indoor courts that are just next to the campus. And I've also been running a lot because the campus is beautiful. Like there's even a lake on campus. You also have a track where you can run on campus. And so I haven't been playing football anymore because besides doing tennis and studying and going running for some times and applying, I haven't really found the time. But you have a lot of sports facilities and a lot of sports clubs. You can literally do anything. Also for people who like to go to the gym, I think we have 3 gyms. Like we have 1 outdoor gym and 2 indoor gyms.
Yeah.
So it's insane if you think about it.
Yeah, of course, if you want to study, if you love sport, that's the right place. Have you met friends already? How does it work? You have already good friends?
Yeah, to be honest, the people
Have
are
you
really
met friends, Sarah?
nice.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, but have you met friends? So yes, you have teammates, but you already have like good friends, people you go out with, people you hang
Yeah,
around with, or not yet?
yeah, I do. I do.
Okay.
I think my main friends come from the Master in Finance, because you're just like together all the time, and then after you're done studying, you just want to chill together as well. So then you go for a dinner, or you cook together, or you go out together. And then also I've met some other Belgian people from other programs, and I think it's very easy to bond with those people. So I've been also hanging out a bit with them. But it's crazy how everyone is coming from a very different background, but in some way or the other, you can get along very easily, very well. So I think HEC does a great job in finding the people that have common interests. So yeah, that's really nice, actually.
Okay. And yes, I imagine that yes, you found friends among Belgium and also in your group. You mentioned that you go eating with friends. So at HEC, if I remember well, last time I went on campus, it was over 20 years ago. But basically, you have a canteen, okay, and you have restaurant on campus. I forgot. You have a canteen.
There's
You have
Yeah,
you have
there's a
you have
large
restaurants.
canteen,
Yeah,
and then there's also a restaurant
yeah.
on campus. And then yeah, in Joey, so in the little village where the campus is located, you have a bunch of restaurants as well. But personally, I've been using my car
Okay,
to drive to Versailles to go for dinners there, because it's
okay.
nicer and then you're a bit away of the
You prefer.
campus.
Okay.
It's also fun.
So I remember when we met your mother, we said that
Yeah,
you need a car. So they agreed to give you a car. Yeah, yeah. You
exactly,
agree that without a
exactly.
car would have been difficult, huh? Huh, Sarah? You
I
agree
mean,
that without a car would have been
yeah,
very difficult.
it's just
Yeah.
nicer. It's
You
not
be a bit
necessary,
stuck.
but it's
Yeah,
nicer.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, because Versailles is what, like 5 or 6 kilometers from campus, huh? Something like
Yeah.
that. So basically, if you don't have a car, it's very complicated to go there because you have to HEC stop on the train station and then you have to take a train. But of course, if you have a car, it takes you 15 minutes and it changes your life.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Alors, basically, we started about all this, but maybe I have to introduce myself and Sarah. So basically, I met Sarah when she was 16 years old, and at that time she wanted to apply. She wanted to become a college athlete. Remember? And then we decided together that basically it would be best to
If I
apply
may,
for. Sorry.
bachelor application.
Yeah.
Ah, amazing. So yeah,
Okay.
you've been in touch
So
not only for master's application,
yeah,
but also
bachelor.
for
When she was
bachelor's.
when she was
Ah,
16. Okay, okay. So sorry.
amazing,
So
amazing. Yeah.
Sarah, alors
Go
Sarah.
on,
So
go on.
if we want, yeah. So can you let me talk? I mean, so Sarah, can you come back to the thing?
Yeah.
So basically,
No.
so we met. So basically, we met when you were 16. At that time, we wanted to become a tennis player, and then we decided that it would be best to stay in Europe. And you have applied. I don't remember the school that you have applied to, but you got accepted to ESCP. And 1 year and a half ago, yes, 1 year and a half ago, yes, you contacted me because you knew that you will finish your bachelor in June 2022 and wanted to have right after a master in finance. And it was not an MIM in your case, and we started to work on it like 1 year and a half ago. And you got accepted to many schools. So you explained the thing to many MIFs. So basically, I've followed Sarah since she's 16 years old. And now you what? How old are you? 20, 21? How old are you?
I'm 20 now.
You're 20. So I met you 4 years ago. And Sarah is from Leuven. If you know where it is, it's a city in Belgium. Basically, Sarah, why have you decided to go for a master in finance after ESCP? ESCP is a good degree. I believe that you have received an offer for Ernst & Young, I believe. Yes, after
And
you did an internship with them. Yeah,
Deloitte,
you have received an offer with Deloitte as a what? As an auditor? As a what?
Yeah.
As an auditor. And why have you decided receiving an offer as an auditor to directly switch for a master in finance? What was the rationale? What was the logic behind that?
So for me at ESCP, I did a bachelor's in management, which is very broad. So I got to discover a bit of everything. So I had a bit of marketing courses, had some economics courses, also some finance courses. And I noticed that I really liked the finance courses. Through my internships, I also developed more an interest for finance. So for me, I really wanted to do a master in finance just to obtain a solid base in finance. So to obtain a theoretical knowledge there. And even though indeed I had the offer from Deloitte in audit, I personally wanted something more. I think audit is very nice and it's very good experience to learn when you're young. But I personally wanted something more challenging where I could see myself grow a lot. So therefore, I wanted to target more investment banks. And I think HEC really helps you for investment banking if you do the master in finance. And that's actually why I wanted to do a master in finance. So first of all, to summarize, to develop a solid base in finance, and secondly, to be able to target investment banks.
Okay. Because you don't believe that with the ESCP BBA, it would have been enough to go to be hired as an analyst for an investment bank? Have you tried, by the way, or not?
I didn't try, so it may be, who knows? I will never know, I guess. But I also just really wanted the theoretical knowledge, to be honest. So, and that's something in a bachelor's in management that you can't really get. So, whereas in a master of finance, I mean, you only have finance courses. So,
yeah, and plus, of course, the name HEC doesn't hurt, huh? Of course.
yeah.
Plus, you're pretty young.
Yeah, I wanted to study
maybe
more.
starting at the age of 20 years old. Because so, can you tell us when will you be done with your MIF, Sarah?
So my course
how is the program structured? Can you explain to our guests how the program is structured and when you can expect to be done and work?
Okay, so we have 2 semesters. So the first one from end of August until the end of December, and then from January until April. And so the first semester and the second semester are each time split in half. So now I have courses that started in September and that will finish at the end of October. So at the end of October, I will have 1 week of exams. And then in November, I will start new classes that will go until the end of December. And so now I mainly have basic courses, such as I still have like microeconomics, I have accounting, I have intro to finance, I have corporate finance, because I'm not coming from a finance background. So I kind of need to catch up with the people that already have a finance background. So if you already have a finance background, you will have more advanced courses at this moment. But then once in November, we will be combined. So when you apply, you need to choose between corporate finance and capital markets. And so I chose for corporate finance. So then starting in November, I will have my corporate finance specialization courses. So these will go until the end of December. And then in January, our elective courses will start. And so the first part of the elective courses will be, I think, from January until March. And then the second part from March until the end of April. And then after April, it depends if you already have a master's degree or not. So for me, I will have to do a certificate. I, at the moment, don't really have a lot of information about it, but it's something more practical where you work together with a company. And you also have, it's not really courses, but you will more work and contribute to the company. And so that will go from the end of April until the end of June. But people who already have a master's degree, they can waive this certificate. So personally, my whole HEC year will end at the end of June, but other people might finish at the end of April already. And then our official graduation is only in March 2024, because we need 4 months of professional experience. So between the end of June and the beginning of March, I need to obtain 4 months of professional experience to be able to graduate.
Okay, you have the famous summer what is it? Summer analyst job. Huh? You have a summer analyst job.
Let's hope.
And from there,
we'll
and from there, I'm sure that it will work. And from there, you get a job offer. Okay, so basically, you will start to work when you're 22 years old, which is a good age to start to work after close to 5 years of studies. Huh? You agree?
Yeah.
Well, Alors, basically, before I ask you for further questions, I see that there are students here that I don't know, because sometimes we have students who are students from class. So I have some of my students, but there are new ones that I've never met. So, Lou, can you introduce yourself? And Lou Favier, can you introduce yourself? What questions have you got for us, Lou? Hello? Lou? Hello? There's Lou Favier. So I'm in library, so I don't speak. Okay. So Laetitia Bassas Tegui. Laetitia, you have a question for us? Laetitia? Hello? Laetitia?
Sorry, hello everyone.
So who are you,
No,
Laetitia? You're not our student, so I don't know you. So can you introduce yourself, and why are you interested in a session on the HEC MIF, Laetitia? Hello?
I'm looking for information about the MIF promotion, and so I want to discover and hear from students that already register in your school, and that's it. And I do not have some question for the moment, but
Okay.
yeah, got it.
So basically, as you know, I live in India now, and you imagine we have about 100 meetings per day. So of course, and I'm surrounding by account managers in my office. So basically, Sarah will explain to you how she has done, and by the way, she has done very well. Huh? And by the way, she will tell us a funny story, because both Sarah and her brothers were my students at the same time. So Sarah. So you have been accepted to all the schools you have applied to. So you have been accepted to LBS, to HEC, to ESSEC. Have you applied to 3? To how many schools have you applied? HEC, LBS, ESSEC. Have you applied to another one?
Yeah, I applied to HEC in France, HEC, ESSEC, and INSEAD, and in the UK I applied to London Business School, London School of Economics, and Imperial.
So you have been accepted to the 6 schools that you have applied to. Okay. By the way, you will tell us why you have decided HEC, even though it seems quite obvious. Well, but so you have been accepted to six schools, which is very good. How do you manage to be accepted to 6 schools? Why have you been so successful? Okay, but there are probably 2 reasons. You agree that there are 2 reasons. So what are the 2 reasons why, according to you, you have been accepted to all the schools that you have applied to?
I think, first of all, preparation, and secondly, working hard, I think. Because the first of all...
Profile, quality of the profile. And I will say that, so Sarah, we had 100% success, and it was the same thing with her brother. First, because they have carefully followed the program, and not the French way, but they believe that they know better than the teacher. Okay, so they know that Dr. Hubert knows better than them, and they respect that. And plus, at the same time, they are very good. Okay, so if you combine a good preparation with a good profile, then you have 100% success. Okay, so basically, with what did we start? So when you want to start for that, what do? You start with application, you start with meeting schools. What is the most important thing to start with, Sarah?
GMAT.
The GMAT, yeah. Without GMAT, and we took what, 6 months? How long did we take? 6 months?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
And you got a 710. You applied twice, and you took it twice, and you got a 710, which is more than enough to get LBS. So it's to get HEC. So basically, Sarah, what she did is that we said to work long in advance, to have like 6 months, and to be ready to work on the application in the summer 2021. Okay, so that you get an offer before Christmas. So if you work hard, you get 710. If you apply early, and if you have a good profile, you get it. Okay, even though your profile was good, so of course you see she speaks English perfectly well, and probably French now. She's international. She had good grades. She had an excellent grade, and you had a weakness. What was the weakness in your application, Sarah?
The weakness in my application, I think
the lack of work experience.
Yeah.
When we applied, you were 19, and you had what? You had 1 internship, not even. When we applied,
No, I had 2 internships and 1 planned. I think it's very good if you apply. They have like an internship that you planned for afterwards, because then you can show that you're preparing for afterwards, and then you can already list it on your CV, so then it seems like you have more work experience. So that's what I did personally.
Yes. So basically, what we did is that we paid the internship that she was going to complete, but not internship. And the internship that you had before, they were about the internship of someone who is 19 years old. You agree?
Yeah,
It was not internship in investment banking, M&A boutique. It was not the strength of your application, but of course it was compensated by the fact that she has a good GMAT, good grades, international, she applied early. So basically they say, okay, this girl lacks professional experience in the field, okay, but the rest is very good, okay. So basically what they do, they can accept potential weakness, but you cannot have two potential weakness. Since the rest was very good because she had very good grades at the ESCP, they say, let's give her a chance, and I'm sure that it will work very well. Okay. We had the same problem with your brother because he was a sportman and he was an issue for him. Okay. So basically, usually what they like, what is MIF are looking for, they're looking for students who have good grades, good GMAT, who come from good education institutions, who are international, who have exhibited leadership, etc., values, and also students who have experience in the field. Okay. And why so? Because as you know, working in an investment bank is a lot of work. It's very demanding. Okay, so they want to make sure that you really know, you know what it is. You know, I told you, Sarah, about my son, and I'm sure that you have similar echoes. It tells me that sometimes it happens that you work 72 hours in a row without sleeping. Okay, and 48 hours in a row is very common. Once a week, 48 hours in a row. Sometimes 72 hours in a row. So they have to make sure that you really like investment banking and that you're ready for that. Okay. So with you, Sarah, at that time you didn't have experience, but basically they say this girl seems to be very serious. She knows what she wants. We're going to give her a chance. And also, there's an interview at HEC, and you agree that in the interview they test your knowledge of investment banking. Okay, and that's why it's preferable to have experience in the field. Can you tell us about the experience that you had? Because at HEC, unlike LBS, it's a motivation interview. So even if you know nothing about finance, they will take you. But at HEC, the interview is slightly different and requires a strong command of corporate finance. Can you explain how it went for you?
For me, HEC, so I had my interview with the academic director and with an alumnus. And they asked technical questions. So they asked me 2 technical questions to which I didn't know the answer, but I just gave my reasoning and they helped me a bit. But at the same time, they kept asking and asking. And even at some point, I gave the right answer, but then they asked a new question, like a follow-up question. But looking back at it afterwards, I think it was more to kind of stress test you and to test your reaction and how you reason, not necessarily about giving the correct answer immediately. So for me personally, it wasn't a great experience. I remember afterwards, I was thinking, okay, I'll never go to HEC, but then it seemed like a great challenge. So
exactly. So basically, what I want to say is that if you have an interview with ESSEC, they will test your knowledge, and if you know enough, it's fine. Okay. It's true that HEC, I think it is the director of the program who is himself conducting the interview. So he wants to know your knowledge, and you know also why, because HEC is the #1 MIF in the world. Okay, and I imagine that he wants to remain #1, so he wants to be able to. He wants to choose his student. Okay, so that's why he's very serious, very committed, and I perfectly understand his approach. It perfectly makes sense. He's #1. He can have the best students in the world coming to his program. He will be stupid not to do so. Okay, Baptiste, Piquet, you have a question for us, Baptiste? You can introduce yourself in 1 minute and tell us what you want. The questions, the information that you want to receive today, Baptiste. Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah.
So hello everyone. My name is Baptiste. I come from law school in Bordeaux. The name is HEC Business School.
HEC, so you know Perico. You know Perico.
Oh, probably. Yes, I know Perico. Do you know Perico?
Yeah, Perico is our student. He's our student, Perico. He's preparing the GMAT and the application with us. Yeah.
Okay, so nice. So I had one question. It's for Sarah. How many hours a week did you work for the GMAT?
For me, it really depended because, as Hubert said, we prepared for like 6 months. So I think in the beginning, I worked about 6 or 7 hours, like maybe for 2 months. Then I did 2 months a bit more, I think about 10 hours. And then the last 2 months were very intense. For sure, yeah, the last month, I think I did a practice test every day. And then I reviewed my mistakes. So I think then I did like 3, 4, 5 hours every day. And the month before the last month, I think I did also about 10 hours per week probably. So for
Yes,
me,
and what
was
is important,
more,
Sarah, and we have to tell them that, yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Sarah.
So
Go
I think it's more about consistency and just the month before your test, really doing a lot of practice tests. So yeah, so hours, I would say for 2 months, maybe 6, 7 hours, and then maybe 3 months, about 10 hours per week, and then really a lot of hours per week for the last month.
Yeah. So you see, Baptiste, for instance, imagine that even if you start to work hard, you cannot be ready before March. No, okay. Even working very hard, and yes, you have to come to class. You see, unlike Sarah, now we have a e-learning system that we didn't have at that time. That should join us. And what is important to know is that we took the GMAT twice, because you have to see that it's rare that you get your best possible score the first time, because you were a bit impressed by the exam. What happened the first time? Yeah, you were not used to the format, even though you had practiced a lot. You agree that to give your best, you have to practice a lot. Huh? By the way, Sarah is very good at math. Huh? She's a very good math. She speaks very well. So basically, she has the right profile. She's good at math, and she speaks English well. So she has the profile to get to 700. Huh? Okay. So Baptiste, yes, if you want to know more about MBA Center, ask Perico. He's our student. Huh?
Okay, thank you.
So by the way, of course, you can get HEC, but there are also other programs that are good. In the UK, there's LSE, Imperial, LBS. There are also programs at Cranfield, at Warwick. You don't need to have a 710. If you get a 620, there are programs for you, Baptiste. You can study in the UK at good program in London with the 620, 630. Okay. Alors basically, Sarah, you didn't have time to introduce yourself, okay? But the idea, I want to start with the experience at HEC, because I feel that the most important for our students is to get an idea, is to get information that they don't get anywhere else. And what you have told them today, I think it's really added value, because that you told them, you gave them a very good insight. So can you introduce yourself, Sarah? Remember, like when we were preparing the interviews.
Okay, yes. So in June, I finished my bachelor's in management at ESCP in the London, Turin, and Paris campus. And so I've just started the master's in international finance at HEC. And throughout my bachelor's degree, I developed an interest for finance. And so this led me to the 3 internships that I've already completed. And now I'm currently looking for internships in investment banking, actually. So that's my current situation. And then outside of school and work, I really like to do sports. So as I've mentioned, I really like to play tennis, play football, and play golf. So that's very shortly about me.
Yes, the first thing to say about Sarah, she comes from a very sporty family, because her brother Simon was also my student. He's a triathlon champion. He tried to qualify for the Olympics, and he was the best triathlete under 12, under 14, under 16, under 18. So he's an Ironman. And her brother, by the way, is at MIT Sloan. So she comes from a very sporty family. Yes. So basically, the rest you told us, ESCP. Serious, committed, professional, good communication skills, as you can see. Yes, and already in terms of work experience now, can you update me, Sarah, because I'm not up to date. Where have you worked these last 2 years?
So in the past summer, I was working at ING, which is a Dutch bank in wholesale banking, and then the summer before, I was working in audit at Deloitte. And the summer before that one, I was working at Amazonia Bio in the finance department. So Amazonia Bio, it's a small company in Belgium. So those are the 3 internships I've already done.
Which is impressive at your age. You had 3 plus 2 before, so you have already 5 internships. So you have worked over more than 1 year already. How many months? 14 months, 15 months? How many months?
No. I just have I just have those 3 internships. So I have, I think, 8 months of internship experience.
8 months. Plus the one, bon, but it's already not bad for someone who is 20 years old. Me, when I was your age, I had never worked in my life. So it's very important. Alors basically, so can you tell us how to maximize the chance of getting in? So you have to tell us apply early, work hard. So we understand that you're a hard worker. So what are the secrets behind your success? Because what people want to apply
could you
like you,
repeat the
so
last
they will. Basically, what's the secret behind your success? We have many students who are here today who would like to be accepted to 6 schools as well. So what is your secret?
My secret, I think it's preparation, to be honest, and working efficiently, because obviously, while preparing the GMAT, you will have a whole bunch of other stuff to do. Maybe you will still be studying, maybe you will do an internship, but you just need to prioritize and try to use your time as efficient as possible. So I think, preparation and working efficiently are the keys to success. And then I think on top of that, it's also good to be involved somewhere and try to get some different experiences where possible, even if it's just joining a shows that you also have a life outside of doing your schoolwork and doing your internships. Then it shows that you're a bit involved. So I think that can also be useful, or a type of international experience. That's also always great, I think.
If I may,
Yes, it's,
if I may,
yeah,
there is a quote I really love. Like, I'm gonna share it with you. Like, victory loves preparation. Victory loves
of course, you have
preparation.
to
So be prepared. If you want to be victorious, just like Sarah was victorious and will keep up being victorious. So victory loves preparation, guys.
Yeah, of
Keep
course.
that in mind.
Yeah, you have to,
Keep that in mind.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, you can go on,
Yeah,
Sarah. You can go on, Hubert, also. You can go on.
Yes, of course. You agree? Alors, basically, that's what we have. So basically, Sarah, we're not going to take more of your time, but basically, do you have a question among of you? Is there someone with a question here? I mean, you have a question for us? There's a question that you want to ask? Hello?
Let's see, maybe students before, and then if they don't have question, I can ask question. Let's see all the
So
others.
what is the question that you have? You're also going. I mean, he's an intern at MBA Center, and he's also our student. So he's doing both. He's our student and he's also an intern. I guess that you see, I mean, is aiming more like Imperial LSE. Huh?
Yeah.
That's because he will get a 620, 630. So it's more like he would be very happy with Imperial and LSE. So
do you think I can get 630, 620? I got like 550 on the last GMAT.
Yeah, you have to. Basically, Sarah, why have you picked up, in addition to LBS, LSE and Imperial?
Why I applied to those schools as well?
Yeah.
Just because I wasn't sure where I was going to get accepted. So I wanted to kind of explore my options. And also, I personally really like London. So I've already lived there 1 year with ESCP. So then I wanted to apply to some different schools in London as well, besides London Business School. And then I think, next to London Business School, London School of Economics is very good. I think Imperial is also good. So that's why I decided to apply to those 2 as well.
Okay, so because you agree that these 2 schools are also very good, any of these 6, you will have been happy with any of the 6 that you have applied to. Huh? You agree? So yes, so basically that's why if we get LSE or Imperial, we can be very happy regarding your results. Huh? Okay. So Sarah, before we stop, so tell me what are the best piece of advice that you would like to give to our students who are going to start to prepare the GMAT or take the GMAT very soon and then send the application either in January or in March? What would you tell them?
I would tell them to follow your advice, to be honest, because it's exactly what I did. I just followed kind of Hubert's plan, and that first of all, made me prepare in a very efficient way. And secondly, that made sure that I always had the overview of where I was exactly. Like I was still preparing the GMAT, but then we were also like finding schools to apply to, seeing what the requirements were. So then it was always easy for me to follow where I was exactly in the process and what I had to do next. So yeah, to be honest, I would say to just follow your advice, because for me, it worked out very well.
Yes, you agree? Yeah, that's the best piece of advice. So basically, me on my behalf, of course, I knew when Sarah contacted me to prepare the masters that you get good results. I did not expect that you get all of them, but I knew after talking to her, seeing that she will apply early enough, she will listen carefully and follow the program that I gave her, even though I've been flexible on my side, because I remember that in February, March, you had exams and we stopped like for 1 month, so I can be flexible. But I could see that she was learning well. When we had class, she was doing well. So I saw that the GMAT is good. And then after that, I knew that given her profile, she would get a lot of the schools she will apply to. We had a nice surprise. She got 6 out of 6. Okay. So thank you very much for being with us. So of course, Sarah, it's always a pleasure to see you. I think that I welcomed your brother last month with so very happy. And you are going to develop the investment club in the family. And you have 3 financiers now. Okay, so you can open an M&A boutique soon in Leuven. Okay, I'm sure with only bright people, you will do very well. Have a good day, Sarah. Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you.
Bye.
It was nice to see you. Bye bye. Bye bye.